G'day guys and welcome back to Jans_Gaming for another Dokkan battle video. So for today's video we have just had the EZA details tweeted out for all of the other EZAs that we knew were coming. You can see I've got all of them here. Global did their job and they actually tweeted out the details as well. So we're going to be jumping in and having a look at everyone. Now I will start off with this INT Super Baby 2. Very difficult with him because you actually can't even run him in most content. So, it's not going to really have much effect if he's very good or not. So, starting off with him, he obviously has the key sphere obtained, nuking lead, and for his passive, we got 150% attack and defense. When HP is 30% or more, you get the +2 key and 100% attack and defense. 12 or more key and extra 150%. When there's another Inhuman D's, Corroded Body or Mind, or GT bosses category allies, so pretty much just every team that you're going to be running him on, he gets guaranteed additional super, gets chance of performing crit, damage reduction, and dodge 20%. So 20% baseline. There you go, that's why. When there's a Pure Saiyan, Hybrid Saiyan, or GT Heroes enemy, you get an additional super, then you get the crit, damage reduction, and dodge plus 20%. So you combine those together, you've got your 40% crit, dodge, and damage reduction. For each attack performed, you get 30% attack and defense up to 150. That's going to be pretty easy to build. I feel like if you've got these two active, you can get potentially 4 in the first turn. So that's going to add up pretty quickly there. 40% damage reduction, 40% dodge. On super attack effect, he does greatly raise attack and defense, and then lowers attack. I don't know. I'd need to see the calcs. He does have very obviously low defensive number there. 20% damage reduction and the 20% dodge. That's a good start. I just feel like his stats are probably going to be a little bit too low. Does have big bad bosses, but yeah, I feel like his stats are just going to be a bit low, but ultimately you can't run this guy most of the time, so I don't think that's going to be the end of the world that he's not overly good. And then you can go Great Ape. So when he does go Great Ape, you randomly change key spheres of a certain type to Rainbow, 30% chance of performing a crit, and then for every key sphere obtained, you get 170% attack. So that could be interesting. Because you are combining that with the orb changing. So I feel like you could probably juice up a pretty decent attack turn with this Great Ape. But again, the issue, you greatly raise the attack too, so if you're getting additionals there. But yeah, the issue becomes that you literally just can't run this guy. So we won't spend too much time on him. Next up, we've got the physical pan. So for her, AGL physical 3 key 90%, bit of a nothing leader skill there. For her passive, we've got 150% attack and defense, 30% chance to dodge. Okay, that's a start. All allies 2 keys, so no stats there. When attacking, we get 150% attack and defense, 50% or more HP, we get 50% attack and defense. Oh, there we go. The allies get 30% attack and defense. Nice. So 2 key, 30% there. When HP is 30% or more, additional 50% attack and defense. And another 30% attack and defense to all allies. So she ends up giving 2 key and 60% attack and defense as long as your HP is up. Nice. That is actually worthwhile running. Nice. Okay, so this is sort of like Baby's Condition. When there is another GT Heroes or Youth category ally, you get an additional 100% attack and defense, 20% dodge, and 20% damage reduction. Now, and then we follow on here, when all to allies, GT Hero or Youth, you get that again. So the reason that becomes pretty impactful is because she's got that baseline here, so that's going to juice her up to a 70%. Essentially, she's got a great chance to dodge there, to work around supers. You got that 40% damage reduction to try and help with some normal effects there. I think she looks pretty good. She's not going to be as good as the STR banner unit pan, but in terms of floating her, and I mean you're going to float the other pan too, it's not going to be an issue that both of them would be on the same team. I think that this pan is looking pretty good. And then for a super attack effect, we get 50% attack and defense for 1 turn. And we raise allies' attack by 25% for 2 turns. Yeah, wow. Okay, so you have STR Pan, floater, this physical Pan as a floater. You give her a full dodge and additional build. Juice up Gogeta, AGL Super Saiyan 4 Go. There is so much 2-turn support on this team. I think this Pan is going to, like, she's genuinely going to get a feature, I think, on my GT Heroes team, which that is awesome. So, yeah, I quite like the look of her EZA. That's a big W there. So then we've got this STR Trunks. So let's see what he's got in the kit. So again, just a nothing leader skill there. So he gets 150% attack and defense, randomly changes key spheres outside of INT and STR to rainbow. So we do have a rainbow orb changer, which is always nice. We give category allies 30% attack, which, meh. So I mean, it's alright. We'd rather defense, yeah, and I'm scanning ahead and I can see that there. So when attacking with 12 or more key, we get 150% attack and defense. GT heroes and hybrids in the same tone, we get the extra 150%, and then 30% crit and damage reduction, nice. Then all allies get the 30% defense there, so that's 30-30. When all allies are GT heroes or hybrid Saiyans, attack and defense 150, and you get that again. So he does have a 60% chance to crit and 60% damage reduction, plus another 30% here. So he's also providing that 60% attack and defense. Yeah, I think that the Trunks looking pretty good as well. Like, I would have loved some dodge on him as well, because I do love my dodging supports, but he greatly raises attack and defense on super. You're only going to be using him as a slot 3 floater, so I'll be interested to see how he performs with that 60% damage reduction post super in slot 3. Yeah, I think this Trunks looks alright. I think he's like a unit that we could throw on as our 5th or 6th option on the team, and realistically that high turn, like high value support here is going to just juice up our main damage dealers and whatnot. So yeah, I think this Trunks could be really, really interesting. Then we've got the final EZA that they announced, and unfortunately he is like the baby, where you are unable to use him in most difficult content because he is the nuking lead. It'd be nice if they did fix that and it just meant you couldn't use him in the leader slot, but anyway, is what it is. So for his passive, we've got attack and defense 200%, so a bit higher there for him. All allies get 33% attack and defense, plus an additional 1 key and 33% for characters that also belong to GT heroes or grade 8 power. So this is where it hurts that we can't use him. Like 66% attack, 33% defense, and a key support. Like, that is awesome support ability right there. And I'd love to be able to use that in more difficult content. But anyways, it is what it is. So when attacking, we get 200% attack and defense, which is another good number there. When we've got a GT hero or giant 8 power ally in the same turn, we've got 150% attack, chance of performing a crit, and here we go. So instead of the damage reduction, they give him a dodge. So 50% dodge and crit. When all allies in the same turn are GT heroes or giant ape, we get an additional super, and he has guard. Greatly raised defense, supreme damage, and raises attack for 3 turns. Interesting. Realistically, you're probably just utilizing this Goku in the same type of role as the STR Trunks or the physical Pan here. You're just throwing them on, throwing this guy on as a floating support class unit. Like 66% attack and defense is really going to juice up someone. Like, immediately comes to mind is the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So that would definitely be interesting, but it's more a matter of it's just not being able to use this Goku. But he does again have the medium chance of turning into Great Ape, which is where we can go into Golden Great Ape. So he changes physical key spheres to STR, and then also changes a random key sphere except for physical and STR to rainbow. 50% chance to perform a crit. So we get the extra crit there, we got extra orb changing, but we get less stats than the INT baby. So we get 100% attack for each key sphere obtained, and same super attack effect there, where we greatly raise attack, cause destructive damage. So yeah, if we would be able to run this guy, I think he could be interesting. Just fulfilling that slot 3 support team. But who knows, maybe that's a change that they have in the works, which would be pretty fire. But anyways, that is all the easy A's down that we've just had announced. Let me know down below which one is your favourite. Personally, I quite like the look of Trunks, is looking pretty good, but also this physical pen. Like, I feel like the two of those are going to be really, really impactful on your GT Heroes team, especially because the last 2 slots in GT Heroes were and such is so up in the air, with the super easy A's that we got announced yesterday not being all too crazy. So as I said, let me know which is your favourite down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the content, and hopefully I'll catch you all on the next video.